Welcome back to the preview for Wednesday at Happy Valley. I'm going to look at the TT races now, races 4, 5 and 6. Now, I've written about these sort of races before and I've said that they're really difficult. Well, they have outdone themselves this time. When I started working on this first leg, there wasn't one single horse I could kick out, and the market backs that up. Every runner is between $6 and $18. It's an impossible race. If there was no jack, you wouldn't touch this with a 10-foot boat in a race like this. These are awful horses with no floor. We will have our work cut out getting through this leg, but obviously we will do our damnedest to get there. I finished probably by virtue of the barrier draw. I think it's just going to get a sit behind them. Not a lot of speed here. The speed's out wide with Home for Glory probably having to drive forward with Good Thinker, and it's hard to imagine them being able to hold on late. So it's a difficult one to assess on how they're going to marry up early. I think Sight Lover will take the sit behind them. I think alongside it'll be Silver Dragon, and Ambitious Treasure should go forward and maybe kick up into the moving line. They should be the first 5, at least in the first 400 or 500. Silver Dragon will get back. It's been running on okay. Telecom Prince is an interesting one. It's only had a few starts. Its last run was its best, coming home quite nicely. Then now, they've given it the best part of 3 months off. Works solid enough without being outstanding. No trial, so that's always a little bit of a concern. Diligent 3. Now this thing here, 16 to 1800, they've been going backwards and forwards in these distance ranges. Been very, very consistent, but it's a non-winner, but could run into the money. In the end, under great sufferance, I finished up 3 on top from 8, 9, 5, 6, and then finished up probably with 11, 1 and 10 and the 2. There's 9 chances in the race, and the 3 we're leaving out have got a little bit of wet track ability, so it's a really dangerous race. If we can sort of navigate our way through this with a half-pie result, well, you know that there's going to be a big TT dividend at the end of it. So good luck to us on that note. Race 5, Croesus has finally drawn a marble. I think it's drawn 11 and 12, 4 out of its last 5 runs. Twice it should have won. Dickie Lou rode it and slaughtered it. Another time Douglas White jumped on it and he did a job on it. Now Tommy Berry's been given the ride. Barrier 2, this should ping and take a sit straight behind the leaders. There's a bit of speed in this race. They should go quite hard. This should be camped 2 or 3 lengths behind the front runners. This looks like a banker in the middle leg. The wet track, slight concerns. Had 2 goes on the dead. Missed the place both times, but it's racing probably better now than it was at that stage. Sunshine Kid was a good win last time. Barrier 9 worries me a little bit. If he tries to go forward and attack, he's going to be in trouble with the 2 or 3 that are drawn with speed well inside him. So I'm hoping he slides across and gets into the moving line. If he lobs 5th or 6th in the moving line, it's got a chance. Gold Edition should lead from Barrier 1. Mosso should drive it straight out. I think he'll then surrender the Super Fresh and take the trail. If he does that, definitely got a winning chance in this. A couple at value, All Victory and B Choice. Both of these have got some chance. It's a tough race, as the 1,000 metres generally are. But in the end, I've gone 11 from 1 and 12, then 3, 5, 4, 8 and 2. We've got it down to 8 possible chances for the placings. And probably leaning towards Croesus as a banker at this stage, unless the weather gets really bad. Race 6, Multi Victories coming to Happy Valley off very solid form. at Sha Tin. Big winner first up, then ran fourth behind Rad in good time. Rad's come out and run 55.5 at its next start. That form line is just way too good for these. It should win. It's the banker in the last leg of the TT for us. Turf Magic, interesting horse, gets a long way back, will be flying home late. Sting out of the track, bit of a plus for it. It's got dicky legs, so that'll help with the 60 kilos. Grimmy, 2 terrific wins in fast time down the straight at Sha Tin, then had a slight leg injury at its next start. They freshened it up, 30 odd days off, give it a month off. The interesting thing with this horse is never been to the Valley, never been past 1200. But a lot of these aren't much good now. He should be able to get this across from barrier 9 with a good speed up front, and I think it's got a chance. Highest acclaim, they tried to get this thing to run 1600, it couldn't do it. They brought it back to the 1200 last start, freshened it up and brought it back to 1200. He pinged it out, went forward and sat outside the speed and was strong and was a good win. Barrier 12, different story now, but it is dropping 7 kilos for the rise up to the class 3 level. I expect he'll go forward. If he goes back, he's got no hope. So he really is compelled to go forward and try and get outside the lead. The leader should be Tomodachi. It's got terrific speed. This Precision King will come across and sit outside it, I think. They're the interesting ones for setting up the tempo. Joyful the Great, it sat outside the lead last time. It's going to get caught out in no man's land, I would think. It's going to struggle from out there. And one smoky that we'll probably throw in, Medic Swordsman. Now, this has got no form, but its form prior to coming to Hong Kong was on rain-affected track. So if the rain continues and comes later on in the evening as well, this mightn't be a bad one to throw in at a bit of value for us. So in the end, 8 on top and will be a banker for us from 1, 4, 10, 5, 7, 2, 3 and 11. A lot of depth in the place chances here. So we are going to be relying on a banker to reduce the width in the last. I shall be back shortly to have a look at the last 2 races, including the second leg of the DT, which is carrying a fairly substantial jackpot also.